We're live. You guys are going to have to bear with me as I figure out my tripod. I had it positioned in a spot that I thought would work, and I don't think it's going to work. So, you know, typical Dina, technical difficulties, but we'll see. Hi guys. I'm really excited about this release. I hope you guys have enjoyed the peaks. I had to do them rhyming because I am a poet in my mind, not in real life, I think. Hi friends. And so I just had to, I hope you enjoyed it. And there were some subtle peaks in there that I don't know if you could tell what they were. I was being sneaky in my sneaks. So I'm really excited to show you what they were. Some of you guessed. Some of you were close. Some of you didn't guess anything of some of my secret peaks. So I'm excited. I'm really excited. So you can watch my live and then head on over to Tim's. And Tim has a live every day. And then Diane's, I think, is this week. Is Di tomorrow? I think Diane's is tomorrow, right, Di? So I'm so excited and thrilled with everything that Ranger designers are putting out. I have to tell you, I think it's going to rejuvenate crafting. It's given me a jolt of adrenaline in crafting. Okay, so let me get my camera set up, and I am going to get the reveal going for Dina Wakley Media. Okay, so hold on for a sec while I put my phone in the tripod. Okay, let me see what you guys can see here. All right, okay. Okay. It's a funny angle, isn't it? All right, I'm going to do my best. Okay, the first thing that I want to show you is sneak by sneak, okay? So sneak number one was about scribbling, okay? And some of you guessed new Scribble Sticks, and yes, you would be right. New Scribble Sticks, I'm so excited. My number one most requested thing that people have asked me for are new Scribble Sticks, and I am pleased to fulfill your desires. So here are the new Scribble Sticks. They have original set and then the new set, and the new set is going to have all of the colors that we were missing in the previous set, including lapis, fuchsia. New set is going to have all of the colors Reed's turning on my live so I can hear myself. Including lapis. Okay, so new set. Now, do you notice a few extra colors happening in here? Because the 6 new colors that I'm coming out in paint are also in the set, so we don't have to wait for the 6 new colors. But the most loved stick that everybody's been asking for is cheddar. So hooray, cheddar Scribble Stick. I'm so excited about that, and excited about how they're all going to work together with the previous colors too. Okay. Somebody said, are they neon? They're not really neon. If you thin them out, they'll look brighter. But they can take on a neon look, I think, when they're fixed. Because the sample that I did in my peak, I had fixed it with a Spectrafix, so it wouldn't run around. So they're not neon, but they're just awesome. So new set of Scribble Sticks. Thank you for your support of this product. They're so versatile and awesome. And hopefully you like these. We can even do more. It's exciting. So let me show you the new colors. So sneak peek 2 was a new blue, and the new colors are here, and let me tell you what they are. Okay, so I have a marine, which is kind of a blue with a gray base almost. I called it marine because it just seemed like the ocean, not ocean like my other ocean color, but more like, you know, ocean at dusk. So marine. We have peacock, which is a green teal. We have olive, which is a yellow green, much needed in the line for yellow. added to the green range. We have Sedona, which is kind of based on a Conti pencil color, kind of that sanguine, I don't know if I'm saying it right, Conti pencil. I love, love, love this color. And I called it Sedona because it really is the color of the rocks in Sedona. And then Eggplant. Now Eggplant, it kind of looks like Blackberry, but it isn't at all, because Blackberry is blue based and Eggplant is red based. And so this is going to have a different tone for you as well. And then Buff. And notice I've used almost all of my sample of Buff. It's an off-white. And so as you do your mixed media, sometimes you want to have a neutral, a light neutral that isn't quite so stark as white. And so now I'm giving you Buff. So these are the new colors. I'm super excited about these. So not just a new blue, but 6 new colors. And just exciting that they're in the Scribble Sticks as well. And then sneak peek number 3 was, you know I love the sea, and I showed you a little peek of stamp sets. So let's talk about stamp sets here. I love, love, love abstract figures. And the stamp set release this time has been really focused around things that I love and that I want to use in my own art. I can't release stamps that I don't want to use. I can't release colors that don't appeal to me. And so these are for me to use, and hopefully you like them too. Hopefully you get my brand of crazy. Diane always says, the difference between you and me is that you hide your weird. And so I guess I'm letting the weird fly this time more. Do the paint colors also come in the large tubes? Yes, they do. They will come in tubes as well. So this is abstract figures here. I'll show you some samples I've done with these. Great for backgrounds and foregrounds. More faces, because you know I love faces. So all of these are taken right out of my journals. If you've paged through my journals when you've been in class, you've seen the originals for all of these pieces of art, because I take them right out of drawings that I have done. More abstract figures, but done in a really loose way. So these are done like in a simple pencil stroke without a lot of going over and over. I aspire to have one pencil stroke or one brush stroke tell a story. That's the kind of art that I want to make. That's the kind of power that I want to have in my own art. And I feel like I'm not there yet, but I'm working towards it. And so that's kind of what these are. A few simple lines, and they tell a story. And I love the quotes in this set as well. This one came out of a journal page that I had drawn, and I just thought this would be so good for cards. And I did, you are important to me, thank you for being you, friends to the end, and then this large piece. And you can use them singly or even cut them smaller down to fit a card front. And I think this would be great for cards, but I've been using it in my journal as well. This one I'm kind of obsessed with. There's always a sleeper stamp set for me that I'm not really sure. You know, I'm like, well, I mean, I don't make one I don't love, but I think, oh, that's cool. And then I always fall in love with the one I think I won't fall in love with. And this is that one for me, this release. I have been obsessed with this one. I piled up all the samples I've made. I have a disproportionate number of sets of samples done with this one. I just think it's fun and silly, and I like the quotes. Normal is so boring. What I did is I did original collages for this, and then I turned them into stamps, and I don't know, I just had a blast with these. So 6 new stamp sets to fuel your creativity there. The next peek was about tape galore, and everybody was excited about this one. I'm really, really excited to show you new tapes. So these are washi tapes done with hand-painted artwork, and I'm so excited about these because I've been using them non-stop. It was, if you've looked at my journals the last few months after I had prototypes, people would ask me, what's that? What's that? I'm like, oh, that's a secret. Because I couldn't stop myself from using them once I got them. And they're a washi tape, so they're a little different than the media tape from before. So the media tape has that strong kind of masking tape adhesive. This is a little bit more of a washi adhesive, but still will stick. I haven't had an issue with this sticking with paper at all. The only time I've had to glue it is when I've tried to stick it to the burlap in the journal, and when I've tried to stick it to the canvas in the journal. I've had to go back and add glue. But it's still, you know, sticky for me. I mean, remember, I probably have lower standards than you do, but we are calling this a washi tape because that's what it is. It's a colorful, awesome patterned washi tape for you to use. There's some faces in there, some phrases, hearts, all done. I did the handmade big pieces of art, and then we shrunk them down. The art department shrunk them down and did a great job coming up with the tapes for me. So I'm excited about those, and I just keep them in a big bin and, you know, use them constantly on my artwork. So excited about the tape, and buy these a lot because I already have ideas for tons more. So if you'll buy them, it's kind of like Field of Dreams. If you build it, they will come. If you buy it, we'll make more. So I'm super excited about those.
Close up of the tape, please.
Sure. So close-ups of the tape. So there are, you'll see better pictures on my blog. There's a post that just went live. So this one has some faces in it, some writing, some hearts, phrase, big and little faces and polka dots. Okay, that's one of the sets. The other set is more abstract shapes. There are some hearts here too, borders, speckly painted backgrounds, and this big circle one that I've tended to use a ton. So you know I love hearts and circles, so that's reflected here in these tapes. So just so excited about them. I already know what colors I need next time too, so they're so fantastic. So that is tape. So the next sneak peek was quotes that help you feel alive, and I am so excited about this one. This is something that's been on my wish list since the very beginning of when I submitted a wish list to Ranger when they took me on. And I have printed tissue. And if you remember back in the early scrapbooking days, there were lots of printed tissues available, and they kind of went the way of the dust. Tim has some awesome ones that I'm obsessed with too. So I wanted my own version of printed tissue, and so that's what these are. So there's a 3x3 inch set of collage words. You get tons and tons of words in here. I've been keeping my extras in this little bin. So as I open a pack and I use scissors to cut out phrases that I want, I keep the rest in here, and that works for my disorganized brain. I'm sure somebody will have a better system, but for me it's a miracle these are in a bin, right? So here we go. But look at all these that you get in the packet. There's 2 of every kind, different size fonts. I already know I want these giant as well, so oh, I have ideas, people. Once you start using stuff, you're like, oh, wouldn't it be cool if this were also, a 10-inch font? So there are lots of different phrases, empowering things, things that I need to tell myself, spend energy on what matters. I've always hated bloom where you're planted, because I think I get the idea of bloom where you're planted, but I say if you don't like where you're planted, uproot and get yourself out of there. And so I've just, I have, if you don't like where you're planted, uproot and move. You are beautiful, you are vast. I love you are vast. I've used that one a lot in my samples as well. Please do not feed the fears. Isn't that something that we need to do? So lots of great quotes for you to use in your artwork there. And then one more sheet, or one more package of printed collage. Trying to find one that I haven't opened because I've used almost all my scraps of this. So we're also doing a larger packet, larger sheet. So this is 7.5 by 10. This one won't have any words in it, and the 3x3 is all words for now. Okay, and so these are large sheets of tissue, and when you glue them in, gel them in, they'll disappear kind of like deli paper will, but just with Dina style artwork on them, and they're just beautiful. They're just fantastic. They're great for underlayers, underpaintings, and I think you'll really enjoy using them. I've used every last scrap, so I have another bin kind of like this one, but a little bit bigger, and so as I tear these up and use parts, I will always save my scraps, because you never know when that little scrap is perfect for a tag. And then we did include some blank tissue in there as well. But all my style, all of images and drawings ripped right out of my journals for you to use. And they're just, they're so good. I've even been using them as focal points instead of a drawing or a stamped image or collage as well. So I can't wait to see what you make with those. You guys make the best magic, and I hope what you make, I hope you're posting it in the Dina Wakley Media Tribe. I've been telling my classes this, that in the tribe, we're watching you. We want to see your art. We look at it all the time, and we want to see what you're doing. And I can do me. You don't need to copy me. I need you to do you. And we love to see it, and for me it's an honor to watch what you do with my artwork. Okay, so that is collage number 5. Okay, number 6 was your stencil fix. Now this one had a little secret in the peak as well. And of course, the new stamps and stencils, as always. The secret in the peak I'll talk about in a second. So I have some fun shapes. I think I called this one Gusts. I always say I don't remember what I call things. I'm terrible. I love this great background pattern. It almost looks like tornadoes. Okay, these I'm killer excited for. So just like I have abstract figure stamps, I did abstract figure stencils and masks. And they're kind of goofy shaped, and I did that on purpose. I did that because I hand painted these and then I turned them into the stencils. And if you come to class and watch videos, I'll be doing videos and tips for how to use these. These are your springboard. These are your foundation for beginning your figures, because once you get your image stenciled on, that's not, you know, the be-all end-all. It's what you do after you stencil it, how you paint it, how you fill in the body, what you stamp in the body, what you paint around the body. That's what's going to make the artwork really sing and be really cool. I think that the human face is powerful. That's why I draw so many faces and why I'm still working on my drawing, and probably always will be. And I think the human figure is powerful. It's a presence and an absence when you have a mask and a stencil. And so here you get both. Some of the heads are attached to the masks, like this one, and some are not. Okay, and the ones that are not. So yeah, so I don't lose the heads. I actually put a little paint on the body and I stick the head in the paint. And then when I need to use it, I can usually pick it off, use it, and then I put a little paint and I stick the head back to the body. So that's how I keep track of the heads. But it's not too hard to paint a head if a head goes missing also. But these are super fun. I've been using them like crazy. We have this, some people were saying that looks like quote bubbles, and I'm like, oh, that's such a good idea. I'm gonna do that next time. Using these a lot, you can tell they're all painty because I don't clean my stencils. This one I've called Wallpaper. It's a kind of a cool background pattern. This one, oh my goodness. So I think this one, it looks like waves. It looks like journaling lines. I've been using it on the side of pages and tags. So where did I have my little fishy set? Did I talk about my little fishy set? Oh, my fishy set's not there. The set that I peeked wasn't in my pile. So I have a little set of fish, and the fish are coming because I you know, am a scuba diver and I love being in the water, being in the ocean. And I think this looks like waves for the fish to be on as well. I don't know what happened to my fish. We'll have to dig the fish out. He's on my blog for sure. There's a set of little fishies and a set of phrases that say things like, let the sea set you free, and happiness comes in salty water, and things like that. That's my favorite one. Where did it go? Who knows? Typical Dina disorganization. Okay, so I hope you love the stencils and the masks. I'm excited to show you more about those.
When are tissues available?
Everything is shipping end of January, except for a couple things I haven't shown you yet. Okay, and those are shipping in February. So here's the thing with the release. This is a release announcement. Your retailers can now order, and then we will ship them by the end of January, and then they'll be in the stores. The first tissue with line?
I don't know.
Do you want the tissue, Kay, or do you want the stencil with lines? This one? It's just cool. I've been gel plating with this a lot, which brings me to my hint that was in the stencil peek that I was being sneaky about. So the gorgeous Diane Reevely and I are co-branding, co-releasing this, and I'm so excited about it. What we're doing is Diane and I both wanted gel plates in our lines, and so we thought, well, let's do it together because we're both obsessed. We both love using them for lots of different things. So here's what you're going to be able to get. You're going to be able to get 2 different versions of gel plates. We're partnering with Gel Press, and one is really large. Diane wanted this one to fit her large journal, and I'm sure she'll tell you more about that. So this one is 9 by 11, so not your traditional 8 by 10 size, a little bit bigger. And then your 8.5 by 11 paper will fit perfectly on it too. So that is hecka cool. And then you're gonna have also the option of having, well, you know you're gonna want both, but this is a set of 3. And so large to fit that large tag that Diane always uses, that's really cool. Another rectangle for a smaller tag, and then this one is actually a circle. So here's the smaller set, because I've been using it like crazy. So here's the circle and the rectangular one that fits the smaller tag, and then the large one that fits that huge tag. And so custom sized for us. We got to request the sizes that we wanted, so you won't find these sizes in other assortments. And I'm really excited about these because a lot of you have had my gel printing class. I'm obsessed with printmaking. I teach a printmaking class where I have you pull prints off of craft sheets and foam and, all kinds of stuff. So printmaking to me is magical, and I'm super excited that we're introducing this in the line. And then also, we have accessories to go with them too. And there's a cute pink brayer. Can you tell that's pink? It's not pink anymore because it's mine. Because, heaven forbid I clean it. But it is pink. It's super cute. And then there are cool little tools that you can use to scrape and all kinds of accessories to go in the line as well. So I kind of got to peek this, even though this is in both of our lines. This is also being announced today. So I got to peek it, and I'm sure Diane will talk more about it as well. My Scribble Sticks crashed down. Okay, so that was number 6. So number 7 is about handmade book heaven, and I'm so excited about this. Let me grab it. It's behind me. So those of you that have heard me talk about my background know that when I first started art journaling, there were no journals to buy. There were scrapbooks, like wire-bound scrapbooks, and there just were not choices. And that's why when the Dilutions Journal came out, it was so exciting because, we actually had a dedicated journal option that had awesome paper in it. And then my journal came out, which is even different, and a different artistic challenge and what I love to use. And so when my journal came out, I knew immediately that there were a couple surfaces that I wanted in loose packets because I want to return to my roots, and I do want to get back to making more books. In fact, one of my classes for 2018 is going to be a bookmaking class where we do all kinds of different book constructions. And in order to do book constructions, we need covers, which the media board is awesome for covers, but we also need guts, what I like to call guts of the book, what's inside. And so we need substrates for the inside. And we have Ranger watercolor paper, we have distressed cardstock, and I love those 2 surfaces. I use those all the time. I use tags, but from the journal I knew I also wanted these loose. So these are loose packets of the Craft Cardstock. So this is shipping mid to end of February, okay, the Craft is. If you've heard me talk about the Craft, it's my absolute favorite surface in that media journal. I didn't expect to love it as much as I do. Colors just pop on the Craft. So we've made this the same size as the papers in the regular journal so that you can tip in if you wish. But it's also fantastic for small books. So here's a little book construction that I'm going to be teaching you guys in classes and stuff like that. And just look how great the colors pop off the page. I just think it's fantastic. Now, we also knew that we would want some of the watercolor paper. Let me just talk about this watercolor paper. So this watercolor paper we're calling it cotton watercolor paper because that's what the factory called it. Maybe we should have named it media paper. The thing about this paper is that it's really unusual because it is handmade. So you've got people that are taking that paper pulp and putting it on screens and pressing it, and it's gonna be varied. It's gonna sometimes be bumpy. It's gonna sometimes be smoother, sometimes thicker, sometimes thinner. And that is the beauty of handmade watercolor paper. And it also has a high recycled content and high cotton content. That means it's going to be crazy absorbent. So if you've ever used some of the other handmade watercolor papers that come out of India, they perform just like this one does, because that's where this one comes from. And if you soak it with water, it's going to absorb it really a lot. If you don't want it to be crazy absorbent, then you need to gesso it. And if you want it to only, if you want to cut down the absorbency maybe by 50%, then you put a thin coat of gesso on. If you really want to make it strong, you put a thick coat of gesso on. So you can actually control your absorbency with this watercolor paper, depending on what you put on it. And I've been known to use it raw. I love the way a brushstroke looks right over the raw paper. If I'm going to be building a lot of mixed media layers on it, I will give it a thick coat of gesso if I know that I'm going to be coating tons of water on it. Now, any paper that you put water on is going to absorb differently on the front than on the back until you flip it over to the back and put media on the back. Okay, so just remember that, you know, it's an artistic challenge. I love it. It's fantastic for mixed media. Fantastic. And so that's why I wanted it in loose sheets. So now this can be the guts of your book as well, or you can mix and match, or you can mix and match this with tags, and you can, you know, do all kinds of fun projects with the loose papers. So I'm really, really excited. Cards, if you're a card maker, you can, you know, have these fun surfaces to use for your card making as well, and scrapbooking. So I'm excited to have these loose. We also knew early on in the media journal that we needed clips. I needed, no, well, who's we? Me. I asked for clips because I'm always clipping tags and things like that into my journals, and, you know, I wanted clips. And so we are coming out with 2 different sizes of these journal clips. And so they're kind of cool and functional at the same time. You get 3 of the little ones or 4 of the big ones. And they're fantastic. I used them here in this little book. I didn't even glue any of these papers. I just clipped them on. And it kind of gives you a dimensional feel in that little book. So just fun to play with, and fun additions for your journal. I love strings hanging off. I love the clip bits hanging out. Couldn't you tie ribbons off the clips, or paper, the new washi tape? Put the new washi tape around the clips and have little flags coming off the edges of the clips, things like that. Lots of fun possibilities. So I just think this combined with media board is going to be a great addition to your bookmaking projects. Also, the other thing that I knew that we would need is a heavier glue, because my gel medium in my media line is fantastic. It is the best glue ever for thin paper because it's not crazy sticky. So, you know, you put gel medium on you know, thin paper like this tissue, it dries fast, it dries matte, you can write on it, and it just is fantastic. But the disadvantage to gel medium, my gel medium, is that it's really more of a matte medium, a fluid matte medium, in that it won't stick anything heavier than dictionary paper. And we needed a heavier glue, especially in the journal when we're gluing on the burlap and when we're gluing on the canvas. And then for bookbinding, I knew I would need a heavier glue. And so we are coming out with ultra thick glue. This is my prototype glue. I've already used 2 whole jars of my prototype glue, and it's going to have a very similar feel to the gel medium in that it's not crazy overly sticky. It's going to dry matte, it's going to dry clear, and it has a little bit of give to it, meaning if I put this circle here with this new ultra thick gel, okay, and I think, oh, I positioned that a little wrong, you've got a little bit of time to slide it where you want it to go. But then once it's dry, it's there forever and ever, amen. But it will let you reposition. It has a little bit of give to it. And I glue with my finger always. I tend to put a big blob on, and then I'll slide it around till I know I have it where I want it, and then I let it dry. So I'm excited for the addition of the ultra thick gel medium, and that'll be great for your book projects, awesome in your journal as well. Does it smell yummy? It does not smell yummy. Should we have them put the metallic smell in there? Okay, let me look at my list. Last but not least, actually 2 more things to show you. My media journal came out a year ago, and I've heard, you know, taken some grief over the media journal because people are scared of the canvas and the burlap, and I understand that 100%. But I stand by my previous statement, which is this media journal reinvigorated my journaling. It lit a fire under me in a way that I had not felt for years and years. And what was fantastic about this media journal is that it is a challenge. You do a couple of the watercolor pages, and then all of a sudden you're at canvas or you're at burlap, and you've got to figure out what to do with those. And you know, you get different looks. So everything you know how to do, you can do on all of the surfaces. It's just going to look different. It's going to feel different. It's going to perform differently depending on whether, or you know, on which surface you end up on that day. And you don't have to go in order. You can always skip around. Well, everybody that knows me will tell you that when I first started art journaling, especially when I first went to Diane's store in England, you know, the Dilutions journal was not available. My journal, of course, was long away. And I was working in these really large handmade books from India. They were only sewed in 2 places, and the signatures would fall out all the time. They weren't made that well, but they were giant. And that's what I worked in, because I liked it. I liked the watercolor, the watercolor paper that was in them. The paper that was in those early journals of mine is pretty much the paper that's in this journal now. Okay, it's very, very similar. I love the size. It was just fun. It was great. Well, we're going back to that. Well, we're keeping this journal because this is my bread and butter. I love it. But we're adding in a large journal. And I want you to see the size difference, okay? So this is the large journal. The new one's about 11 by 14. It's giant. Let me put the small one on top. Can you see it because they're black? Okay, I'm gonna put a page, a loose page on top of that small journal so that you can get an idea. So this is the size of the pages in that small journal, okay? About 7 by 10, 7.5 by 10. Okay, so here's the small journal. Look at the size difference. So much bigger. So it has so much more real estate. And we decided, we made it a couple different versions for prototypes. We did it with only watercolor paper. And you know what? I didn't love it. You know why I didn't love it? Because I think the magic of this journal is in the different substrates. The magic is that it has strings hanging off of it. The magic is that there's burlap and canvas and craft in here. And so when they made it with all of the different surfaces, I was like, yes. This is it. This is it. And so it is absolutely gigantic, and it's so fun to play in, and it gives you some more real estate to play with and to mess around with, and it's a great addition. So another creative challenge for you guys to maybe start working big. If you've come to my abstract painting class, why not get one of these larger journals and practice your abstract painting. I mean, this is bigger than the pieces of paper that I hand out to you in class when we do those first couple of paintings, okay? So it's such a great size to work on your artwork and to spill and to fill up with writing. And here's that stamp set I forgot to show you, right? My little fishies. There's no Yupo paper in this journal. That's a good question. No Yupo paper. That would be great though, wouldn't it? Same MO as the other journal, just much bigger size. Much bigger size. Are you not so excited? I'm doing my Muppet voice. When I get excited or when I cry, my voice goes up like, oh my gosh! That's how I feel about this journal. And actually, that's how I feel about this entire release. I love the collage papers. I love the stamps. I love the stencils. All of it has been so fun to use. Let me show you a few samples I've made. Okay, so here's that set that went missing. Honestly, maybe that set swam away. I had it in my pile this morning. I don't know what I did with it. Okay, here's the scribbly fishies as well. Stamped in the background, I don't know if you can see, that scribble stick on the stamp. So the new Scribble Stick Marine back there. And then fishies, let the sea set you free. I've really had fun playing with the little fishies. If you want to come scuba diving with me someday, let me know. I'll get in the water anytime. Here's that abstract figure set, as well as one of those faces done in the background. And that face I did, again, with Scribble Stick. So don't, forget that you can layer these images in different ways. And I've been mixing and matching the phrases that come in the sets as well. I think this one looks like the Oscar statue. Don't you think so? So in the tape, you see the media tape in the background. Here you see one of the quotes from the tissues sets. Super fun. Yep, the journal will lay flat. The journal's bound just like the other journal's bound. So as flat as my other journal lays, because look at all the stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it's bound to open like a book, okay? And so when we talk about laying flat, you can crack it open and lay it flat like that. Good question. Keep them coming. More samples done with the abstract figures. This is that set with the 2 women that I think would be so cute for cards. In the background K, that's that stencil you asked about. And then this is media tape, or excuse me, not media tape, this is washi tape as my little border here. This is colored with the new Scribble Stick colors as well. And then this background and this piece are printed on the new gel plates. Yeah, the surfaces in the journal are the cotton media watercolor paper. They are the craft, the heavyweight craft that is divine. You're going to want to spread it on the floor and roll around in it, I promise. There's a thin canvas, and then there is burlap or hessian. Okay, the burlap is the one I get the most grief for, but I have to say I love the burlap.
When does it ship?
The journal is shipping end of January. So here's another one of the sets. Tape is going on here. Scribble stick on the stamp in the background. The new colors happening as well. That's the eggplant.
How many pages?
I think it's 50-something. Pages are like 50-something pages in the journal. 54? I don't know. I'd have to look at the packaging. It's thick. It's going to take you a while to fill. It's a new funky stamp set. Gel printed background as well. And tape. Here's the tissue, the collage tissue happening there with the quotes again. Colored with the new Scribble Stick. That's the Sedona Scribble Stick and tape. The new stencil here in the background. This one, I'm kind of crazy for. No, let me answer that question about the distress crayons and the Scribble Sticks. They're the only similarity between distress crayons and Scribble Sticks is they're both water soluble. Distress crayons are really soft, and Tim can probably explain them way better than I can. They have a finger feel almost to them that you can mush them around. And then mine are more of a drawing medium, so mine are really hard, and mine are like almost like a colored pencil lead that's also water soluble. They're heavy. There's no wax in the Scribble Stick, and so when you pick them up, you'll be surprised at how heavy they are. So really, you need both, because they're both different and cool. And so here's again the background that's printed on the gel press with the stamp pressed into the plate. More of the tissues clip. Here I put the clip on the tag. More gel printed pieces happening here. Here are two that I did with those masks from the silhouettes. So if you'll notice, this one I did a colorful background, then the mask and some tape. And then this one I added a bunch of tissue underneath the layers and over as well. And so see, the stencils might look a little intimidating, but look what you can make. They're so cool. I'll show you another page that I did with those as well. Isn't that powerful? You can see the images floating in the background too with the large figures. I just think they're so fantastic. Journal pages as well.
Can Scribble Sticks be sharpened to a point?
Scribble Sticks can be sharpened to a point. If you have a really fat sharpener, you will lose all the shavings that you could dissolve into something else. So what I would recommend doing is I would make yourself a bunch of backgrounds, okay? So take the stick, scribble it on the watercolor, and turn it as you go till you have a point, and then wet the watercolor paper, and then you've got background. So in a sense, you're not losing any of the shavings, but you can sharpen them with a knife. You could sharpen them in a big sharpener. They won't fit in a regular pencil sharpener though. I will say I never ever sharpen them. The gel press, I suggest the Dina Wakley Dilutions gel press. If you like to do large pages and large sheets and then cut them down, I think the large one that will fit perfectly on the Dilutions journal would be really fun for you. It's also good for fabric. So I don't know if you are fabric printers, but the large one, you can get more done. And don't forget about glazing medium. So my glazing medium in my line, mix it with your paint, coat that large plate with your paint and glazing medium concoction, and then you make sure there's a lot of paint on there, and then you can press muslin into your plate, especially with the large one, because if you're going to print a yard of fabric, you might as well do a big chunk at a time, and so that large one works really well. And anyway, you need both, but I use both a lot. So these are some of the new colors. This is not a new sample. I posted this flower a while ago, but what you did not know is that I was actually peeking the new colors to you, because this is buff, this is eggplant, and this is olive. The large journals from me and Diane are not the same. Mine's a little bit bigger. she can tell you more of the exact dimensions of hers, but like if you take that really large plate, then it fits on my page with a little bit of length on the top and bottom peeking out. What medium helps with fabric printing? You can buy fabric medium actually. It's just the same as my glazing medium really. So glazing medium will help keep your paint wet longer, and then I also think it helps soak into your fabric. The other thing about fabric printing is I have best results when I use a fabric that has not a textured weave. And so I find muslin to work really well. Or a really nice quilting cotton, or something that's got that's not really bumpy. If you print it on bumpy watercolor paper, you know that the print doesn't always turn out awesome. These are stamps that have been inked with the Scribble Sticks happening there. Here's another journal page too. Can you see in the background the figures? So this time I did those masks really light and faint in the background. I have hundreds of more samples to show you guys, and I'm really excited to show them to you. Let me show you one more thing. I gotta take my camera down. There's my husband. So, I don't know if you noticed this apron I'm wearing. We now have an apron, a Dina Wakley Media apron, and I'm so excited. I've washed mine a bunch of times in the washing machine. It's made from cotton, so it's going to shrink. Now, when you put it on, if you're short, I don't want you to panic. Because it's huge. It will probably go to your mid-calf, but it will shrink a little bit in the washer. But I need it to be big because I'm not a small person, and I needed it to be able to wrap around my body. So it actually will wrap around your body. It'll tie in the front. It'll kind of cover your hips. And then for me, when I stand up, it goes to my knees even after I've washed it. And so it's big, and it's got these cool hearts. I did the work for the hearts on there. And it's just... and it's thick. So you guys know that I wipe my brush, and here you can tell I've wiped the texture tools, my paint combs, right on my apron. And you know that I can't make art if I don't wear an apron. And even with an apron, I get paint everywhere. And so I'm really excited that we finally have an apron. I get asked all the time, when can we buy your apron? Now's the time. So I hope you're super excited. I love everything in the release. The new huge journal. If I could make out with it, I would. I really love it. And I can't wait to show you the rest of the samples I've made. My floor is covered in samples. And I'll keep sharing those. I need to photograph more of them. And I will be posting live videos, tips, and tricks from the show. I'll be demoing with the gel press. I'll be demoing with the new silhouette stencils and stamps. And, of course, with the new Scribble Sticks. And the new colors, I just want to say one more thing. The new colors are kind of an homage, too, to my roots. Because when I first discovered spray ink, there was Adirondack, Tim's awesome earthy colors, right? Color wash. And so these are kind of a love letter to those colors. And they're going to add to my line a deeper level of color that I didn't have before. So they add those deep, darker tones. And so as you're painting and as you're making journal pages and cards, it's going to help you get more of a contrast. You can use magenta with the eggplant. You can use blushing with the eggplant so that you get lots of different highs and lows in your artwork, which makes your artwork better, right? Well, I hope you had fun, and I hope you have a blast. And please post your work in the Dina Wakley Media Tribe. Check my blog, too, for more better pictures of the stamps, and for the fishy stamp set that swam away from me. Bye, everybody.